I got my left ear. Is my right ear not working?
Wow, the potato cam is strong.
Yeah, I'm super laggy on my end too, which is funny.
I don't know if you can see me, but my screen has just got you like a little Lego figure just going.
I can see you fine, luckily, but...
Like a good little meme, actually. I record it. Oh, too.
Good.
I only caught the end of it.
Maybe I've eaten all my RAM up. Probably have a million tabs open.
No, it's my Hotbox internet. It's particularly crap.
Hotbox. Sorry, I was late. We were deep in product discussion, and I didn't bring my phone with me, which is weird, so...
Where is it?
Oh, it's here now. I just left it in another part of the shop while we were talking.
Gotcha.
And then without that, I don't know what time it is or what I'm supposed to be doing or anything. So
I see.
I realized I was like, oh, it's probably, I'm probably late now.
Yes, that's fantastic. It was just like glitching perfectly of your mouth, like a little animation, like, hi, I'm Justin. Hello. Oh, daddy. I can hear you. I'll just pretend I can see you. What's happening?
Perfect.
You've been in product development mode.
Yeah, we've done a
daddy.
lot. Shit, it's not working. Hold on here. Did you hear that?
I heard that, yeah.
Did that work? Oh, good. Okay, it does work. We can have some horses galloping on dirt. We have, I just kind of big head, slow product sales. And so that usually means for me, work on new things. And so we're just kind of trying to focus on what's the new, and make things that aren't too niche, which I've always had a hard time doing. And so, yeah, some fixturing stuff, some dust collection stuff. There's a lot of different projects at once. So it's good.
Cool.
Feels good.
Awesome. Feels good. Yeah.
Like, it feels a little bit wrong at first, right? Whenever you start on a new product, they're like, what? Should I be trying to make money somehow right now? You know, like, oh, wait, this is how we make money.
So you're managing to put that aside enough to enjoy it?
Yeah, a little bit. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
I know it's different. It's different now. Like, just, I'm not 23 anymore, and it's now really actually work rather than, oh, this is fun.
Yeah.
How are you? What's up? It's dark there.
I'm tired. It's dark. Yeah, I'm alright.
Is it cold in there?
Yeah, pretty cold. But I've invested in a heated blanket to sit on. And I have a heated desk mat, so it's pretty warm. My peripherals
Never heard
are
the
cold.
heated desk mat before.
My core is warm. Yeah, it's pretty toasty. I think it's the reason we cooked Johnny's CNC PC, actually, laptop, at the shop, because he's had one
That makes sense.
under that Lenovo for a few years. And then the Lenovo power supply, ThinkPad power supply died. I don't know, 6 months ago or something. I opened it up and to have a look to clean out the dust and stuff, because the poor laptop just sits out in the dusty shop all the time.
Right.
And the heat, like the metal cover on the bottom of the laptop looked like a space shuttle heat shield. It had discolored. Like, wow.
Ooh.
Wow, Johnny, you've been running this thing
Yeah.
hot. And then realized that it's been sitting on this heated desk mat and probably just exacerbating its normal heating issues. So, yeah, fix that.
And that, and you didn't change the oil on it, like, ever.
No, that was the van. We killed the van.
Oh, yeah. Not your, oh, yeah.
But now going okay, kind of just in design, detailing, bottleneck mode again. Found myself where we've won a lot of custom work, and now we've got to draw and detail and get approval on a lot of custom work. So Johnny's taking a whole bunch of that, but it's also just a bit of gem the bottleneck again. Need to be quoting. Haven't quoted enough this week, but also need to get stuff drawn so that there's things to make, because web sales have been super slow at this end as
Yeah,
well.
same.
Yeah. I was just looking at like the year-on-year stuff in Shopify, and last 30 days is down
I
like
don't want to do that.
57%, which is pretty big, pretty significant, I think. Traffic's down
So like
20%.
year to date.
Nah, that's just trailing 30 days.
Oh. Yeah, I
Um,
mean, we're down 37% from last month, and it wasn't a great month last month. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It doesn't feel good.
Yeah, the year-to-date
Yeah.
numbers are even a bit more depressing. They're pretty flat. Don't look. So yeah,
That might be better for me.
I've been looking, kind of just tied up in the custom loop at the moment, which is fine. You know, that's obviously bringing in money. It's just very dependent on me. So I would like to get web sales up, and I feel like I've got a list of like optimization, conversion rate optimization things I'd like to do the website. There's a super long list, but don't
Right.
find myself getting to it. It's a bit like the product development thing, like justifying the time to fiddle with a website for half a day and just make what seem like minor little changes. Don't know. Not
Right.
justifying that right now.
Yeah,
But no,
the
I
thing that I
should
keep
be.
kicking down the road
Yeah.
endlessly is my Squarespace to Shopify.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of reasons it's not
So it's
great,
still
but it
going.
just feels like A, I'm not interested in it. B, it's still a lot of tedious work. Like my goal at one point was like, I'm going to do a little every day. And then I just like stopped for 2 months. But I
Yeah.
pay monthly for that stupid Squarespace website. So it's expensive just to like have, it's kind of redundant in some ways. But my concern is like, I'm not going to just shut it off, because that's where a decent amount of our like internet traffic goes to first, not to the shop. So not going to just like kill my links and every effort I've had making that be something that the internet likes, stuff like that. That's just like, I sit down in the morning to work and I'm like, yeah, I should kill that. You know, it's like, kill that off. But I don't.
No. I've got a similar conundrum at the moment. I've become a bit frustrated with the quality of leads we're getting through our quoting form. Not all of them, but we're getting a lot of kind of lowball CNC leads through there. And I'm obviously not doing a great job in the form of sort of qualifying those out, because they're coming through often with no budget, or like, oh, just as cheap as possible, which is fine, but
Right.
I don't want to quote that work right now. And I need to I've already removed the CNC from our web menu completely, but it's still one of our highest performing like Google pages. Like a lot of traffic comes through from search through that page, so I don't want to just cold delete it, but I want to redirect that traffic and also do a better job of qualifying out those leads, because a lot of them I'm just like either procrastinating on saying no, or when I am saying no, I'm just saying, hey, yeah, try this shop and this shop in Melbourne. They might be able to help you.
You need a Venn diagram to help you say no.
Maybe I do. Maybe I need your Venn.
Pin it up in your trailer.
Yeah.
I have been better at saying no,
Cool.
and also been getting that like kickback of like, well, based on your website, you seem like a perfect candidate. And I'm like, well, I don't want to make there's no way I'm going to make enough money on modeling your 3D, like from your sketch, model the 3D thing, and then machine it in 3D out of wood. There's no way you're going to want to pay enough for that. Like, so no.
Yeah.
It's not really what we want to be doing right now. So, but
Yeah. So what do you do? Like, I'm thinking I should have better examples on my CNC site or website about on that page about like the real costs of modeling stuff for people, or even doing like file improvement for people.
That's
example costings of projects maybe, because it's not like, you know, there is still valuable work to be had in that space. Certainly it's come through. I'm like, yeah, cool, we'll cut those sheets for you. You've got good files ready to go. It's a material that we know and might even have in stock. That's work we can put on the machines tomorrow. Great. But yeah.
I guess I still it's still part of the same qualification to me of like, if people have respected what we've set up for how we gauge projects, right? Like if I get like, if they skip our RFQ form and just like send us an email on our help desk with no attachments and like no, like they skip all the interest. Oh, could we have a phone call about how I can have my thing? No, like you don't respect the way we have things set up. So why would I like spend the effort to go out of the way? Because almost all the time I've ever found that like the same person that was fighting back, he sent me no information, wanted to have a phone call, and then when I got what it was, I was like, yeah, we're not going to do that anyway. So it's like when I had spent my half an hour on that phone call trying to figure out what he wanted. But I mean, that's a bad example maybe, but it's like,
no, it's
to
a common
me,
example.
there's all the same enough qualifications through like your web form to be able to see whether or not it's a good project, because usually I find the people that respect your business and set up the way you have things to do, they're going to be good clients and maybe like appreciate the right budgets. I don't give budgets for anything or like what it might cost. That's maybe a good idea to like, maybe it kills off the people that aren't interested that would be bad clients in the first place.
Do you have a minimum order, like a published minimum order?
Yeah. And I'm sure that sends a lot of people away too. We don't get that many RFQs anymore. And I you know, at times I'm like, crap, I wish there was more. But like, also, I feel like it's hard to say, right? Because you don't get the bad ones as much, but it's like, I think it works to some degree that it gets you what is more ideal for us.
Great. Yeah, I find people generally respond pretty well to pricing examples. And again, this is like one of the web CRO things I'd like to do is like have more examples of products there. But I think part of our issue at the moment is we're making custom a little too easy, maybe. You know,
isn't that funny? Like when we started, we're like, let's make this easier. And then it's like the opposite. We're like, buy our products.
Yeah. So it's like, I think, on one hand, it's hugely better than it was. Like, 80% of the custom work we're doing is so-called ideal, like it's customized kit of parts, which is fantastic. There's a lot to celebrate in that. And maybe that's obscuring my vision a little bit in terms of leading leads, sort of, making the custom route a little bit too accessible for people. Of like, oh yeah, I can customize that for you. It's kind of like the classic gem of like, oh yeah, well, I can make anything. I'll make that for you.
Right.
So maybe it's a bit of that sort of people pleasing, eager to help, sort of leads to more custom solutions, which then loops back and creates more design detailing work and more admin. But
maybe one of those things that helps you redirect people to more standard products, I guess. Since you have I guess we both could kind of do this. I feel like you might be able to easier if you find a way in your Airtable data of all your projects, find kind of the differentiator or the difference of what a custom job is versus a product, and just put a percentage or something like, on average, it's 29% more expensive, or 50% more expensive for us to do a custom job for you, because we've standardized things.
Yeah. I've got that language in the quoting form actually, but I probably need to revisit that percentage a little bit because I suspect it's a little bit low. Probably feels a bit too accessible. Of like, oh, only 20% more. Cool, yeah, we'll get custom.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reality is like why I'm bitching about the like you won't want to pay is my reaction over time. I think is to make money on most jobs. We almost always have to bill more than I originally have thought. Right? Like it always ends up being there's some gaff or something, and so then you end up out or like barely making a profit. And I had this realization. So I've been listening to the Pumpkin Plan. That Mike Michalowicz, I believe.
New book. New book
have you listened to that?
Whoop, whoop.
New book. We don't have no buttons for that.
Parts Department Book Club. It's
Welcome
back.
to Parts Department.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Nah, I haven't looked at it.
I feel somewhat similar as I did to the Profit First, where it's definitely not as revelatory for my simple business mind, but it's a lot of good reminders. It kind of plays nicely with like E-Myth and he talks about Profit First, but there's some stuff even I've been talking about with Ricky that's been like in the last chapter I was just listening to. He describes how you should never have to launch a product without knowing if it's going to be successful based on basically like market research or like user interviews, and use the concept of which this is super smart. I wouldn't have thought of this. Is you don't ask people, potential customers or probably your current customers, about your own business. You ask about the industry, which is super smart because then like if they like you, which is likely because otherwise they wouldn't be talking to you. They don't want to hurt your feelings, so they're not going to tell you bad things that you do bad as likely. Or a product thing that maybe you already have, and they're more likely to be genuine and tell you basically their wish list of whatever the thing is, and so you're getting kind of this perfect series of things that you can act on, I suppose. So that was really interesting. I hadn't thought of it that way, and I do think I need to spend more time in that regard with products to basically do user research, like how just not a thing, I guess, that I was taught very well in school. A little too like introverted in the way we design things, I think.
Totally.
Or maybe that's just me.
I've never really done anything like that. I think I guess my equivalent is like, I'll post something on Instagram and see if people like it.
We talked about that. That's how I knew the Dust Boot would be successful at the gate. Is it was like I had this like list of comments of people going, I'll buy that right now.
Yeah.
Like what you have in crappy form. And I'm like, that's a good feeling. But like, because of all the other reasons we've talked about, it's like I don't do that as much anymore. So gotta find other methods.
Tell you who Baby Pants polls well with. 3-year-olds.
Babies, yes.
The son of one of my staff loves the Baby Pants sticker to the point that he asked dad yesterday to come home with a video of the Baby Pants sticker from the machine.
Oh God, I love that. That's good. I have other things that I've never acted on that might be even more. I have another thing that I need to get finished that would be even more appealing to that demographic.
Thanks. I just made more work for you. You're welcome.
No, it's been partially done. I've just never finished it. We have kind of a gaff. I don't know. We didn't really talk about this, I don't think, here. But one of the more popular, like, what do you call it? Marketing material providers here is called Sticker Mule. And that's where we get like that's where we used to get our like printed tape and stickers, like the stickers you're talking about. And
yeah,
they made a ass of themselves. The owner did, the co-founder.
Inside sample here.
And it's definitely not something we will support by any means going forward, basically supporting Trump in the most asinine way he possibly could by like mass emailing all of their customers, texting them, posting all over the internet his own political persuasions, and that we should all agree, basically. And so there's been a mass movement away from their services. And I'd say what sucks about that, I'm all for, I want to support the companies that make sense for us, and that's not it. But they were like the easiest and best at getting that tape. And it's such an expensive thing in terms of minimums otherwise. And like you could get a roll of that tape at maximum cost of $29 a roll. And it is like double that anywhere else for a small quantity. It just kind of becomes, that's the only thing I've had a hard time. There's a million sticker companies.
So like your PDX tape.
Yeah.
That you buy.
Which usually gets a good response. So I'm still working on sourcing that. I've been on Alibaba and a little bit of a headache, but well worth it.
Good. I've looked into that branded tape as well. No, I haven't gone very far down that path. That's something I've considered. At the moment, we buy printed card rather than printed tape. So all of our cardboard is branded.
Right. Sure.
So due to some clerical error many years ago, we managed to pay very little for what would have been a huge setup cost on doing a full sheet, like 1.2 by 1200 by 2400. I don't know what the process is. Screen, stamp, I don't know how they do it. But a full size, like LB, we call it Gucci board because it's kind of got like an angle. It's nothing to do with Gucci, but like angled design
Gucci
pattern.
board.
So we order that in like 500 sheets at a time, and so that's our branding, and then we just use clear tape. But I've often thought it would probably be cheaper just to buy a plain card and have branded tape, but I haven't looked into it very deeply. I do like our Gucci board. It's fun.
Right. To go back a little bit to maybe Pumpkin Plan and like eMyth. I've been talking about some of those things with Ricky a little bit more, and just, I mean, he's not fairly enough not interested to be reading those. He's always interested to talk about it. Like he hasn't read eMyth, right? Like, and so, it's kind of my job to like bring those concepts to play. And I don't know how this never came up, but we were describing in some of the new things we want to make, how we need to make like a franchisable version of it, right? We need a guide to how to make this product so that we can, my example is like we can have a Portland CNC Northeast, right? We can have an entirely new branch, and they can, based on our operating procedures, make these things. And we do a pretty good job of some guides, but like there's still like the product we were talking about improving. It is basically an artistic expression of how to make something, and it is completely not replicable, and Ricky's the only one that can make it, really. And it's just, it feels terrible, right? Like that's just not great. And what you're talking about, which I don't know how to replace this either, and I don't know how you make this through a franchisable practice, but it's like, if your business is hung up on you getting that stuff done, that feels about as bad as me having this product that only Ricky can make. Like we're both in these like places of, everybody has these things, but I feel like those are things we got to attack pretty strongly, and I haven't done a good job of that. But it's definitely something I'm focusing on in terms of how we make new products. Like it can't be like that, even if it is maybe the best way we know how right now.
Yeah, I think I've become a little bit blind to it in the business downsize of like, as part of that was becoming absolutely essential again to everything. And so I'm like kind of caught in that a little bit of like, oh, well, I guess that's me now. Like, this is what I do. And kind of accepting that a bit more. Which
is kind of necessary to agree. I get that.
Yeah. I guess I'm not in that sort of optimization mode where I was previously, where I was looking at the business sort of more holistically and going, right, which bits of this where is it over reliant on me? How do I get further away from these things, put it on someone else's plate? Yeah, at the moment feels very different to that of like, cool, we're just all working together, hustling to make this work.
Right.
Let's go.
Right.
Yeah, different modes.
Yeah.
But,
Right. Yeah. It's just an interesting challenge that I think is achievable on our end. There's a million things, like I tried, every time that you just found it, I'm sure, having another child, but it's like every time I feel like it's the biggest slap in the face when I try and take time off, and it just completely fell apart when I tried to go to the coast with family for 4 days, and we had like every conceivable. The internet didn't go out here, I guess. That's about the only thing. Like if some network problem would have happened, but like we had a massive refund request from a product, completely the customer's fault of ordering something. Like,
yeah, you told me about
we
that.
had
Full on.
machining problems where parts were flying off the table of like custom layups from customers that never happens. And we think it was because it was internal stress in the wood. And they were already complicated parts, and it's honestly a thing where partly because of the pumpkin plan, I'm not going to keep taking work from that customer because it's just always something, and we always just basically never make money on them, even though every time I'm like, we'll charge a little more, it's going to work this time. And the reality is it just never works. It just never works out.
I tell you what happened that worked well for me. I just noticed in the inbox last night. I had a customer email me a quote request direct, so they skipped their form, which is very common for this particular customer. And they emailed my personal inbox rather than the business one, because that must have been the email address that came up for them. And so I just forwarded it straight to the main Like Butter business address.
That's what I do too. Yeah.
Without even opening it, like without even sort of responding there, I'll respond from the other account. And when it entered the main Like Butter Gmail account, it was automatically tagged with D-grade customer. And I must have set this filter up last time we did work for this customer and then totally forgotten about it.
We talked about this.
And it worked.
Oh, that's amazing.
It automatically appeared. I was like, oh yeah, what was that about? I'd totally forgotten, but it prompted me to go back and look. I'm like, oh, what happened last time that made me do that? So yeah,
that's amazing. Mine are the opposite of that, or it doesn't tag it when it comes in. It won't send them any receipt emails, so they don't even get a response, so that we can act on it before. I always have like an auto response of like, we got you. We got it. Yeah. We'll respond in 24 hours. And I should probably have I don't know how to react to it yet, I suppose, but I mean, I have had one customer ever that I remember, maybe, that I had to like actively say, we are not taking your work anymore. And they just didn't get it at all. Like even then, like why? It's like, well, the last time you brought us material, it was still wet in clamps. So no, it's not really, like you didn't understand that was a problem, but that's great. So what are you going to do about it?
Oh, I'll quote them, of course. Yeah.
Oh, come on. Oh. Do you have like a D-grade multiplier for profitability?
Yeah, I do.
It's like an inverse relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got one of those.
Yeah, I don't know. I would recommend Pumpkin Plan. Okay. Like I said, it's a lot of reminders. It's good in terms of just, he talks a lot about, I don't know how, it doesn't work as well in a product sense, but it's definitely helped me shape and reiterate what makes good clients for like custom work. And it kind of also, there's a decent amount in the later part of the book where he's been talking about like how to do market like research and stuff like that. That's been stuff that I didn't think about that way anyway. But it's meh. It's a business book. What can you say?
Yeah, cool. No, I'll check it out. I'm due for another book.
Yeah,
I think. We've made a little bit of progress here on the PS2. Just a little.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's been out for a while, my man.
Pencil Sharpener V2.
Ooh.
I've got made a connection with this person who's a bright young mind who sort of has been popping into the workshop once a week just to sort of hang out and get some experience just from a sort of business perspective and manufacturing perspective. But they're someone who's quite deep in the sort of DIY CNC scene, printers, mini mills, sort of making their own little 4-axis lathe, cool stuff. And so because they're in that space, you know, of sourcing components and CNC mode drives and controls and stuff, it's been really interesting chatting to them and kind of starting to sort of nut out some of the basic kinematics of how this bench top pencil sharpener is going to work. So it's been fun. Haven't made a huge amount of time for it, but we have made some progress. It's been cool.
Ricky brought me another sparkly water because I am parched, and it's very nice if I asked him kindly. Don't need dry mouth. Sorry, I might have missed the last 10 seconds of what you said.
Fine.
Close to a new, well, not close. You're beginning the process of a new version.
Beginning. Yeah, we're just beginning the process of scratching around and working that out, which is cool. And yeah. And then the next sort of development challenge for me, which we're being pushed into and I really don't want to do, is we have to change core materials again on all of our products. But the Australian plywood supplier that we use, there's not many plywood mills in Australia, and the one that we use have just improved their product line quite significantly, which is cool. Going for a more furniture grade product, which is awesome, but they're changing all their nominal thicknesses back to like European birch values instead of weird imperial rip-off values like we've become used to again.
Weird.
So yeah, Kitaparts, you know, the modular sort of stack up of Kitaparts is all based on 16 mil material, which kind of crept up over the last couple of years and became 17 mil nominal material. And now we can't get 16 anymore, or 17 as it was in reality. And everything's going to become 18, which doesn't sound like much, but when you sort of stack up all the components in a set of shelves, you start getting quite a lot of compound error, and there's ways to battle that. But then it gets more complicated with like drawers and doors and panels and all of those accessories that we've introduced. So I have to like make some decisions again, like we did with Kitaparts V1 to V2, about whether I really don't want to change dowel length. Like, that's the last thing I want to do, but I need to work out how to sort of compensate for this material thickness change, but make, you know, because it's really important to us to make accessories backwards compatible.
Right. I remember that pain thinking about knockwall stuff.
Yeah, just like a V2 customer orders a drawer in 3 months' time, how to ensure that it works for them just as well as a current customer and all that. Those fun games.
Yep.
So that's on my desk at the moment. And because we're probably, I don't know, maybe a month off running out of the 16 mil nominal stock. So I need to crack on and work out what we're doing so I don't get caught with our pads down.
So it's going to basically go to an 18 or a 15.
Yeah, and 15's too thin. Because then it has the reverse effect of like a negative stack up where you start getting dips in things.
You're basically losing then 2 mil in between space, which gets considerable for like accessories and stuff, probably.
Considerable for accessories particularly. Yeah. Yeah, if we didn't have accessories, it wouldn't matter. We would just rebate the underside of the 18 mil shelf, so the dowel kind of just extends into a little rebate slightly. We've done that before and that works well, but it does change the functional shelf space of what's left by 2 millimeters. So
without knowing the product more intimately, it feels like it might not be that big of a deal, but I get that it's probably a big deal with it's side panels and
side panels particularly. They're the hardest bit to solve.
Can you just make them the new design, updated? Oh no, because it need a bit longer. Yeah, some type of like little adapter piece, I suppose.
Yeah.
When you
Spring
try
loaded.
to make them work with the right.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's fun. And you can probably get. No, you probably can't get any other. Like, nobody's going to make you a custom run, and that would be extremely expensive, probably. And then it's probably not worth it going forward.
Like a custom run of what?
Need that just plywood and that thickness you're looking
Material.
for.
Gully. Yeah. No, I don't think so. One of the frustrating things is one of the new thicknesses is 15 mil. And we're like, well, typically these people supply plywood over thickness every time. Like, we've become so used to sheets coming in over thickness. We're like, cool, we'll just buy the new 15 mil, and it's probably going to be almost 16 mil anyway. But as part of their new processes, they seem to have tightened that up a bit and got on top of their tolerance issues. I remember a tech saying once, a German technician working in the industry here, commenting on how Australia's manufacturing, like plywood specifically, manufacturing capabilities were like from the 1600s. Like, he thought they were very agricultural compared to what Europe was capable of. Which, we've experienced directly. Like, you buy nice European birch plywood and it's like bang on tolerance spec across the whole sheet. It's beautifully consistent and reliable right through a pack of material, whereas the stuff that we've gotten used to is like up to a millimeters variance, depending on where you measure it in every sheet, which is just crazy.
Yep. Crazy. I mean, we usually say 20 to 30 thousandths variance, which is just under a mil. Recommendations, other material we're looking at for a new product option called Armor Core, which typically I'm pretty against. So dimensionally like accurate, and works really good for this type of thing we're gonna do. So
cool.
we've used it testing data for like pull out strength and modulus of things I don't even fully understand, but it's nice to be able to compare it and understand that there's like some science behind it, rather than like when I asked for that about Baltic birch and they're like, that doesn't exist. We don't. Nobody has that.
Cool. Ross, man, what else is on your list? I gotta go take the kid to school soon.
I don't know.
Sugar.
Boy. Oh, I'd say we haven't talked about this here, but it's probably been almost a month ago. You made a good little video for the patrons of your sales workflow.
Quoting.
And it's on, if you're a Patreon member, you can go view that. But if you are or would like to be, you should go check that out. But I don't think we've talked about it here, but I've never really loved our sales process, but the levels of things that you guys have developed with Airtable, like, I don't really use interfaces for anything. And I think it's because of how they came out. I just didn't like it. And I didn't realize you could do half of the stuff you guys have made. And it's just really quite amazing, the levels of integration you've gone to basically make like a full quoting capability based, on probably a few different tables that link together. And it's really cool. So I'm not explaining it well, but
just
loved it.
Yeah. I forget how... Yeah, it was good to make that little video, actually. It was good to be reminded of, how good that system actually is, how involved it is.
Right.
Yeah. It's a
So
good
here,
thing. Quoting backend.
Calculator. Quoting your backend.
I will. Our forklift has cooked itself almost. It's almost on its last legs. The battery's dying. I suspect we have an expensive service quote incoming to replace the battery. Yay!
What kind of battery is it? Like the water
Lead
alkaline
acid
thing?
Yeah.
Lead acid, yeah.
But I was Googling around yesterday, and you can put like lithium packs in them as well. So I'll try and get a quote on that.
Right.
See how that compares.
That's what I was That was what I was wondering, is they seem really ideal, but very expensive. We just ended up buying a propane liquid
got a gas
gas,
full.
because they just run forever. Like, you never
right.
die really. And I was just so afraid of like buying an electric one and not being able to tell if the batteries were going to go dead. And like, just everything I read was like the maintenance of them was really important to like keep them at the right level of charge, and then
Yeah.
they go dead if you don't do it. And
Aye.
you just get one of those walk behind little stacker things instead.
Yeah, some of those are pretty good. Right.
Well,
Oh,
yes.
your videos just started working just as we're wrapping up. Great.
Oh,
You've
good.
been pixelated the whole time. I see you now.
My version is
Hello.
like 4 frames a second for some reason
Yeah. Something
of
like
myself. It's just mind-boggling how the delay. Like, I click it and then I hear it and I wait for you you to react.
that. Yeah.
It's like the internet, and we did better this time. We talked over each other less. It's got to be
I
a
think
little
so,
less annoying to listen to.
It's pretty heavy going in the last week.
We're having our own conversations. Okay. I'll
Okay.
see you next
Good to
week.
see you. See you next week. Bye.
In the perfect plan, you know it. Boss of Guam and book club, man, we gotta show it. Reading books about the money growing. Boss of Guam and book club, man, we gotta show it. Built the strategy for business, books so legit. Turn the brokies into profits. Never gonna